Even family will screw you over when it comes to money. Let me start this off with my father-in-law is an awful person. He's the type of Christian that will do awful things, but if he donates to the church on Sunday, he'll get into heaven. Back in July 2022 I started working for him. He agreed to pay me $15 an hour. He owns several businesses and has a few hundred employees, so he was definitely able to afford it. I photocopied the paperwork for myself because I always keep employment papers in general. Fast forward to last Friday. I needed to collect all my pay stubs for proof of income, and at this point I didn't check any of them because I blindly trusted him. To my surprise, I was being paid a $1.50 less than agreed upon. I went to HR and asked what the hell. She was obviously guilt-ridden but told me the same exact day I signed the paperwork he told her to change it to $13.50 and remain silent or she'd lose her job. I have all the proof to sue this man or get him in trouble somehow, but I can't. I can't risk something going wrong and my mother-in-law losing the money she needs to keep up her cancer treatments. I'd never be able to live with myself if she lost her battle because of my revenge actions. So here I am, having no choice but to seethe in silence. Always pay attention even if it's family. Just tell your wife? He expects you to take care of his daughter with a $13.50 wage? Isn't it easy? Tell him you have the paperwork and demand the money. It's your father-in-law, so at least talk. Otherwise, you could go to the same church and ask loudly what God say about the fact of fathers-in-law screwing over sons-in-law by not paying him what agreed. They all know you. They know your father-in-law. If you don't get the money, he still is FD by the fellow Christians. That is considerable money. It is surprising you did not notice the shortage for 8 months. Dude owns several businesses and has a few hundred employees. Don't be afraid to sue his ass. He has plenty of money to pay back pay to his son-in-law. More than likely the threat of a lawsuit will get him to pay up. Especially if you have proof and an HR person can testify that they were told directly by him to lower your wage and not inform you. You wouldn't be the cause of your mill losing anything. It would be your Phil's fault for not paying his employees properly. If he's willing to screw you, he's likely screwing over a lot more people that you don't know about. Submit copies of your paperwork and pay stubs to Department of Labor. Then start looking for a new job. The cancer is not your concern. He has multiple businesses and can pay for it. Do not let this situation guilt you into the poorhouse. You deserve to be paid what you agreed to. Shop around now for a new job that values the skill you were taught these last 8 months. And if anyone in the family asks, straight up tell them that your Phil is screwing you over. Right now, he's convinced that his daughter married a doormat. What other people think of you is none of your business. But what you think of yourself is everything. If you're that worried about Mill, you can write a check for $1.50 an hour to help her, but then it's your choice and not one made for you. Sorry guy. A few things I've learned the hard way. Never do business. Work for or with family. Never borrow or lend money to family. Never. If it were me, I'd ask him about it. Pretend you've never talked to HR. Say, hey, I was checking my pay because I need to submit proof of income. And I just realized HR input my pay rate incorrectly. I've been getting paid $1.50 less an hour than what you and I agreed on. Should I take my copy of our agreement to them and ask for the back pay they shorted me? Or do you want me to handle it some other way? Quote, Luke chapter 6 verse 31, And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. This is the kind of asshole who is expecting you to either ignore it or come at him in anger. which he will then use by turning everything around on you. I would surprise his fake Christian ass by coming at it like Jesus. Say you found out and that you're really disappointed in the deception, and that while you forgive him, you will need to give your official 2 weeks notice and look for a better paying job, livable wage. You won't screw over your mill if you sue him. Your Phil will have screwed over your mill for being a thief. If you don't want to sue, I recommend humiliating him in front of his congregation, or figure out how to use that societal pressure to get up to pay you back. Report him. If you allow him to continue this, then you can't complain. You would then be complicit. You mill will be fine. If he's that rich, then they have that covered. It's not your fault he's a douchebag. Take all your evidence and show it to him, and if he gives you grief, take it to the labor relations board. Don't just suffer in silence. Otherwise quit and find something else. Never just complain and take it. That means the next time he'll do the same thing. I would start with asking him. Better yet, in front of his daughter. I agree with the church idea. Go to church and tell the preacher you have a special message of forgiveness you'd like to share with everyone. Proceed to tell everyone how they should forgive your sinner father, how he stole money from his own children in the name of greed, but he has come to church for forgiveness. Tell them the awful conditions you are forced to live in so that your sinner dad can have a better life. But since Jesus taught you to turn the other cheek, you have not confronted him and his evil ways. Say you know your dad has a good soul, and with the help of the church and community together you can help him end his sinful ways. You're a sucker if you don't sue him or report him to the doll. If he has money for the church, he has money for cancer treatments. My dad, who is a devout Christian, told me as a kid, never do business with family or other Christians. They will be the first to screw you over. Tell the people in your church what he did. Shame can be a good motivator. Tell him the IRS is investigating the discrepancy in your taxes because you claimed your agreement wage. Tell him that he can make it right, or you have to tell them. Blame somebody else for you having to deal with it. Then it's not necessarily you that's initiating it. He can make it right by giving you cash and avoiding taxes on it. No choice but to seethe in silence? How about go ask him about it? You getting the amount owed to you wouldn't be enough for a woman to stop her cancer treatments.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Heracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.